Hi, it's Curious Teacups. Today we would like to share how loneliness affected us as international students. In most cases, young adulthood is seen in a positive light, but there are also many complicated feelings involved. For example, loneliness, since becoming an adult is something we all have to face alone.
I was always an introvert at heart. In my childhood, my parents were concerned about my social life because I used to spend most of my free time in my room. However, at 18, my life changed completely when I arrived in Seoul for the first time. My curiosity about other cultures and people made me want to be an extrovert. I was still uncomfortable talking to a lot of people, but I always aimed to be as social as possible. According to society, to be something in this world, you must leave your comfort zone and push your social boundaries. Those thoughts crossed my mind often. Then, another life-changing event happened. I had to move to Jeju Island alone during COVID-19. Even I, someone who used to enjoy solitude, experienced true loneliness. At first, I felt depressed. I felt a longing for my family. After, I started analyzing my feelings by experiencing loneliness and the exact opposite. During different periods in my life, I started listening to my inner voice. I found out that I had forced myself to fit in society standards. I tried so hard to be active and social, when in reality I wasn't comfortable with it. Now, thanks to my experience with loneliness, I understand that I'm an introvert. I can be active with people I'm comfortable with, and there is no need to be always outgoing as I tried to be in the past.
Before I decided to study abroad, I was known as someone quiet. Quiet, polite, and considerate were the only words most people used to describe me with. That changed when I decided I wanted to explore both my identity and the outside world more. I moved to South Korea to study abroad, and as expected, I knew no one. I was as alone as one can possibly get, and had no choice but to interact with strangers all the time. At first, talking to people I didn't know every day did feel weird. But after some time, I realized that it didn't bother me at all. That's when I realized that even though I didn't feel the need to socialize, I enjoyed it. I no longer felt the need to stick to other people's perception of me. That's when my self-expression became much more free. Thanks to that, I managed to find new sides of me. Loneliness taught me that I can find more about myself anytime I'm willing to look for it. For me, the best time to go out of my comfort zone was when no one was watching. When I was left alone with myself, I noticed that my perception of myself wasn't entirely correct. What I mean by that is that there was more to me than I thought there was. Living on your own, especially in a foreign country, can show you that you can handle much more than you expected you could. Overall, I'm grateful for those few months of loneliness. Strangely enough, when I was left alone with myself, I became the most comfortable with being myself around others I had ever been. Right now we're in a music-themed cafe. The two of us used to be roommates, so before going to bed we often sang together some of the songs that meant a lot to us. In South Korea, going to themed cafes is how friends hang out. Of course not always, but I would really recommend it to anyone who visits. I'm convinced that there's a cafe out there for any interest or hobby you could have.
Loneliness can be used as a tool to understand yourself better. Each person could find different parts of themselves to explore. There is no right or wrong lesson to learn. All of them could be used to improve our own lives. These are our experiences with loneliness, and we would like to know about yours as well. You could tell us about it in the comment section below.